All right, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 44. This one's at light heavyweight. We got William Knight taking on Alonzo Menifield. Both guys kind of small for the division, but Menifield's gonna have a 2 inch reach advantage, or excuse me, 3 inch reach advantage. He's 2 inches taller. So I will start with William Knight. Coming off his best performance to date in the UFC with a first round knockout against Fabio Charant. Charant kind of crashed forward, just caught him with a beautiful left hook. So yeah, definitely coming off his best performance. And then before that, little tricky against Dong Jung. Jung just out wrestled him. Again, Knight's pretty small for the division, and he was actually looking to wrestle himself. But I think that once Dong Jung saw how much of an advantage he had, he just kept going to it and won that fight pretty handily. But before that, makes his outright UFC debut against Alexa Kamer. Again, a lot of clinch work. Kamer probably wins the first round, just pushing him up against the fence for the most part. And then in the second round, though, they go back to the clinch, but William Knight is able to get a good takedown at the end. I think he got a couple takedowns, but he gets a really strong one at the end. Shows how strong this guy is on the ground. Like, he'll just reverse positions with one underhook. So he's got a ton of brute strength, but yeah, lands some really good ground and pound in the second, and also in the third, had him flattened out a couple times, similar positions, and was just able to win that fight pretty handily, I would say, or at least he was the clear winner in my eyes. Whenever they would be at range, Knight would land the heavier shots. He landed the heavier shots on the ground, and just a good way to get started. And then he fought in the Contender Series twice, got the ground and pound knockout both times. Some more good clinch work in there. Very good regional scene resume. Fought one time CFFC, got knocked out by Tafin Chukwe, so UFC caliber guy there, and or UFC fighter, I should say. But yeah, CES solid promotion. Had a couple weird wins in CES where guys would tap to strikes, or like the one time it looked like it was a back of the head shot. The guy went to protest and the ref just called it, and he was just kind of beat. So he's had some odd fights on the regional scene, but again, very high level of competition on the regional scene. Stylistically, Knight seems to like to work the wrestling in. He's got good trip takedowns. Like I said, very good at reversing positions. He's very strong. He's got very good hooks too. I'd say that's the best part of his striking game. Um, Obviously, he can't really fight at range too well because he's very short for the division. But if guys get into the pocket with him, he's always dangerous for that one shot KO. But the one thing I don't like about William Knight's game is he leans his head back a lot, man. It's really concerning. Like, that's how you get knocked out. And even Fabio Charant, who's a very green fighter, he made that read, and he got knocked out and he was crashing forward, but he was looking for it. And I've seen it in so many fights that it is concerning. It should be noted. But also, I want to note that I think William Knight's cardio is pretty good, so it might be relevant for this one. We'll see. But with Alonzo Menifield coming off a nice bounce back win or two bounce back wins. But his last performance I thought was great against Ed Herman, who's tough to put away. I thought he would have put most light heavyweights away with this crazy flurry he had in the second round, had him up against the clinch. He kind of has this like revert, like sideways hammer fist shot that he likes to throw. Sometimes he throws it at range. It's a little concerning, but in the clinch though, it was nasty. And again, Ed Herman just certified zombie mode, really tough to put away. And Menifield wasn't able to do it, but he chewed that leg up badly. Maybe landed like 5 or 6 calf kicks, and that was enough to take away the lead leg completely. And he won that fight running away. It was very easy fight for Menifield. And then before that, gets the Von Flute choke against Fabio Charant. Charant tried to pull guillotine, and Menifield just dumped him and just worked in that choke, transitioned to it. So very nice to see. But then before that, he had a tough two-fight stretch against Devin Clark and Oven St. Preux. He was undefeated prior to the Clark fight, and Clark just rushes out there, doesn't touch gloves, just goes for the takedown right away. And most of the fight is spent in the clinch, but Menifield lands some really good combinations, puts it on him in the first round, but pretty much the whole fight is spent in the clinch, and Clark just chipped away at him. So I hate to sound like Chris Collinsworth, but it was just a veteran performance there. Very veteran fight for Devin Clark, just chipping away in the clinch and dragging Menifield into deep waters where he had never been. Most of his fights ended in the first or second round prior to that. So it was the first time he really got extended, and Menifield was definitely tired. Devin Clark was able to definitively put a stamp on that fight in the end of the third round, and he had a lot more strikes thrown in the clinch, and that's how he was able to do it. Then against OSP, another tough matchup, goes right back in there after losing to Devin Clark, and OSP just managed his range really well. It was so tough for Menifield to get in there. OSP way taller, and once he did close that distance, he was landing a couple good shots, but he ended up trying to crash in and just got knocked out badly. Pretty much the same way that Fabio Charant got knocked out against William Knight. Just face forward, and he was out instantly. So I mean, he wasn't out cold, but the fight was stopped. So again, tricky fight, and I feel like a lot of people were giving Menifield shit for that. Like at least on Twitter, I saw people were upset they didn't get the knockout against Ed Herman. But again, he's a zombie, so it's tough to do. I thought he looked great in that one, but I think it's just a case of there was too much hype put on Alonzo Menifield too early. He had a great run going though. You know, he had a couple first round finishes in the UFC. I believe he had three. Yeah, he had two. If three, if we're including the contender series, and then it was just all stoppages before that. Has not fought with any garbage promotions, Bellator, LFA. So again, the regional scene competition is good for both of these guys. But again, man, I go back to that Ed Herman fight. I thought Menifield looked really good in that, and I think he would have knocked out most guys. It's just again, Ed Herman is just so tough to put away, but he did a lot of damage, and most importantly, I thought Menifield looked the most measured he's looked in that one. I think that was the plan, you know. And once Herman was immobilized, he was just looking to do one thing. He was in southpaw, and he was just up against the fence, just hoping that Menifield would crash in so he could hit him with the counter. And Menifield kind of just didn't let that happen in the third. Just was kind of content to stay on the outside. And like, I mean, why would he crash in there? Why would he give Ed Herman the one path he has to victory? Because I remember so many people were bitching on Twitter about how Menifield wasn't showing urgency, but it's like, what do you want? If he does show urgency and he just crashes in there in a fight he's running away with and gets knocked out, we'll be talking about how he has no fight IQ. So I thought he looked great in that fight. I thought the cardio looked great, and he just measured himself very well, or measured his output. But stylistically, William Knight got heavy hands, or excuse me, I mean that's true, but Menifield has heavy hands. He's got a good jab, good power too, but yeah, it's mostly the cardio that was an issue for him before. So that's why it was very good to see against Menifield. I mean against Herman that he did so well. And then the takedown defense for Menifield, pretty damn good. I don't think he's going to get taken down easily by William Knight. If he does get taken down, it's a little concerning. But again, he's got very good takedown defense. And a lot of times guys try to take him down. He ends up just reversing the position in the clinch. So I like I like Alonzo Menifield's game a lot. I'm still high on him. And for this one, I'm definitely going to go with Menifield. At minus 172, I think it's a good price. I want to see the knockout prop. I might take a stab at it. I'm leaning towards doing it because of the way William Knight leaves his chin just so far back. But these are the types of fights that always seem to go the distance. You just got two power guys. You look at it, you're like, oh, there's no way this is going to the decision, but then it does. Because both guys are going to respect each other's power and they're going to be more measured. But if William Knight can't get the takedown, we've seen that Alonzo Menifield can just manage range very well against some of these shorter guys. Who Ed Herman has a similar style to William Knight, at least on the feet, and Menifield was able to run away with that fight. He had him swinging wild, kind of guessing because he just couldn't hit him. He was very mobile in and out of range. Menifield's definitely faster, and I like him all day on the feet in this, unless he's stupid and just stays in a phone booth with William Knight, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's really going to come down to William Knight's takedown ability, but I don't think William Knight is going to be able to get like a crazy open mat double leg takedown. He doesn't have that type of explosiveness. Menifield's faster. It's only going to be in the clinch or if they're right up close, and I think Menifield, if they're up against the fence, I don't think Knight's gonna be able to take him down. And I like Menifield's output in the clinch just a little bit more, even though he got outworked badly in the Devin Clark fight. But again, those are the types of fights, which is why I like Menifield now. He's had a lot more adversity he's had to go through in the UFC. They pushed him kind of hard, matched him up with tough opponents. He gets 2 wins in a row, so I'm still high on him. I like Alonzo Menifield at minus 172. Looking to make a play on this, and we'll see the knockout prop. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Sure to subscribe and take it easy.